Okay. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for attending to this morning's service during this nice summertime. While everything is starting to open up, I think we're having a breath of fresh air and a sigh of relief there. But today I'd like to do something a little bit different. I would like to show you a segment from a documentary that was made by a Kaikyoshi minister and from Brazil. I forget his name, but the title of the movie, the documentary, is called Streams of Light. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with this and maybe have seen it even, but I would like to kind of show you just a brief segment of Mas Kodani Sensei's interview. Mas Kodani Sensei is a kind of a charismatic reverend minister who's down at the Senshin Buddhist Temple, which is located in the heart of LA, South Central Los Angeles. And he's been, a Kaikyoshi minister for many, many, many years. And he's kind of featured in this movie very briefly. And I'd like to share that and then kind of have a few words regarding that interview. And then hopefully that will kickstart some kind of conversation, because I would like to have a little bit of a discussion with you folks here today. And if you have any questions regarding this interview, or if you have any questions regarding anything regarding the rituals or regarding topics that you might be interested in, please feel free to ask me that today. Okay, so that's kind of the discussion or the Dharma message that I would like to do today. So without further ado, I would like to get this interview ready here.
The first part, which is Garaku and Bogaku, court dancing, all the musicians are third generation. This is why we always insist on Japanese American. We're not Japanese, we're Japanese American. And that, when we're asked what does that mean, it means that we're American in every other way, but we got this face, right? And the culture that is associated with that face, we are trying to maintain and to make grow.
When I came here, the Issei were in power. They were running the temple. Mm-hmm. The Nisei were beginning to were having families, and they were active, but it was basically run by the Issei. Mm-hmm. So the board meetings were all in Japanese at the time, for a while anyway.
Your sansei,
right?
Oh, as a sansei, third generation Japanese American, how did they relate to you coming in as a younger minister?
Open. They were very, very open, and I was told later that this temple was an exception because it was a kind of strange place. Mm-hmm. And part of that strangeness was that they were very open about it. So, yeah, I had no problem at all. Yeah.
Did you feel that you got any insights, or your appreciation of the Dharma or the Buddhist teachings was informed at all by your encounters with those Issei?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before I came here, I had not met any Japanese Americans. Right. The first Japanese Americans I met were at this temple.
Really?
Because I grew up in a black African American community. So I knew Japanese because I lived in Japan. But when I came here, it was the first time I met JAs. So, yeah. And the Isseis they were really a remarkable group, I thought. Yeah. The Issei's attitude towards death and dying really got me interested in Jodo Shinshu. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would be here still. In other words, they were very comfortable with talking about the whole process of death, right? And I think what it means is it's not a matter of picking and choosing what life is. You take it all, and you dakko it. You know. That's very rare in American society, I think. You know, we separate everything, and you push away death. You don't talk about death at all. You know, For all the Kubler-Ross kind of thing, we still don't talk about it. It's just not done. So there's a fear of that, I think. Our kids know that whatever it is or whatever it isn't, it's not unacceptable. It's just there, and it's something you have to deal with. And they do it very well, I think. Yeah.
What do you think the Jodo Shinshu tradition has to really pull someone in, or that would really speak to someone's life?
I think it's really radical. It's so radical. It's not going to fly yet. And that is, it don't work. Right? Your attempt to be in control of your practice, your meditation, your intellectual grasp of Buddhism, it doesn't work. Right? That's a stunning thing to be told. After all that time, you mean all this stuff I've been doing, you're saying it doesn't work? Basically, we're saying, yeah, does it? Does it for all of that? Right? If you have a bad day and you come home and kick your dog, what's the purpose, right? And Shinshu is asking this very brutal question, and Shinshu starts there, I think. So I'm not sure that America's ready for Jodo Shinshu, right? I mean, it's that powerful, I think. Yeah, it's asking direct questions. See, I don't understand innovation because I've been told this temple innovates, but what it does is it changes things so that they become more alive by it. So it's not for other people, it's for us. Right? And I think as long as that's the case, people will come in and see it and be attracted to it. If we try to sell something, we exhaust ourselves selling something that we have no feeling for. Right? This is why we abolished our Dharma school, because a whole generation of Niseis brought their kids every Sunday, dropped them off, and went to play golf or go shopping at Marukai. What are you telling your child? This is good when you're a kid, but when you get to be mommy and daddy's age, you don't need this. And that's exactly what happened. Right? We have a whole generation who said, that's for kids. Right? And they still have this child's view of Jodo Shinshu. Right? So I think we'd be better off without Dharma school. Right? And so now the kids see their parents come here to enjoy themselves and to be stimulated for themselves. And they don't care if the kids come or not. Those kids come because they know it's important to their parents. Right? They weren't just dropped off and forced here. That was a crucial error we made, I think. And we still tend to do that by copying other religious institutions. And they will tell you, it doesn't work. Why are you copying us?
Right.
It makes no sense, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So that was Mas Kodani Sensei, who actually, as it turns out, he spoke yesterday regarding the Kin Nara group that he started, or he helped to start, which was partly, I think, one of the first taiko groups to have ever started in America, and so that's kind of one of the pride and joy of Senshin Bukkyokai is the beginning of Kin Nara group. So he gave a whole talk about that with Johnny Mori, and Johnny Mori is part of the Hiroshima band, right, the famous jazz band. So some of the highlights of this interview, I think, are talking about the process of death and being comfortable with this process of death, about talking about this process of death. And as a matter of fact, the person interviewing Kodani Sensei was a person by the name of Henry Adams Sensei, who's now currently at the San Mateo Buddhist Church. So, but I remember Henry Adams actually giving this talk one time saying that when he was a young boy, his grandma, passed away, and he was not allowed to go to the grandma's funeral service. And the reason why was because his parents felt that he wasn't ready for that at that young age. He wasn't ready to be exposed to death, right? So now Henry Adams, as a minister, when he sees children coming to the funeral services, he's very moved by this, and he thinks it's a very important and crucial step in the development of the child's life, to show that death is a part of reality, right? And this openness to accept death as a part of this life is a very Buddhist attitude, and he's continually moved by that when he sees that at the funeral services. And I remember him giving that talk, and so this is kind of what Kodani Sensei, I think, is talking about and alluding to, that well, you dakko it, right? You this understanding of death and taking it all in. And he said that this is kind of rare, right? This understanding is kind of rare here in America. So he says Jodo Shishu is very radical, and it's this attempt to control things, and to try to understand reality and to be in our possession is what is incorrect, right? And this, even a lot of times Buddhists, a lot of times in general, Buddhists get this point kind of mixed up. They think that enlightenment is some kind of thing that's that's attainable, and that you just have to work hard to go and grab enlightenment, right? But enlightenment doesn't work in that way from a Jodo Shinshu perspective. From a Jodo Shinshu perspective, enlightenment is not something that you can control and grasp to make your own. Rather, you awaken to the fact that enlightenment embraces you just as you are. And that is the Jodo Shinshu understanding of the world of enlightenment. And so I think one of the important things that he said was that we adjust Jodo Shinshu to our needs, right? And that's what the Americans did, and the JA community did with the Buddhism here. They adjusted it to their needs. And so he talked about Dharma school, and so Senshin Bukyokai abolished their Dharma school, right? And the understanding was that if the parents come to the Dharma services and see the importances in coming to these services, then the children will naturally follow the lead of their parents. And actually, that is a rare case of a success story at Senshin Bukyokai, in which they abolished the Dharma school, and they emphasized more the family Dharma services. I'm not saying we should do that. I'm just saying that that's what he did, and the focus was, or the emphasis was, to look at questioning for the followers, the adults. Why is it that I come to temple? What is it that I am getting out of this religion? Is having this religion beneficial in my life? Do I see it having value and adding value to my life? And this is, I think, something that is important that we revisit every so often as adults, because by doing so, we will be motivated to come to the temple. And naturally, not just our kids, but also the public at large will also see the interest and also be influenced by our motivation to come to the temple, and also would want to start coming to the temple as well. So, I think it's good to ask ourselves, what is the benefit of Jodo Shinshu in my life? How is this benefiting my life, right? And the answer shouldn't be like, well, I like coming to temple for chicken teriyaki, right? Or I like the bazaars, right? Nothing. Or I like kendo, or the sports stuff, right? But I'm thinking of maybe the answer is more like, I enjoy being part of the sangha, right? I love the message of Amida Buddha's great compassion that embraces all beings just as they are, right? I can be myself with all my good points, but as well as my bad points as well, right? And people accept me for who I am. The Sangha accepts me. Amida Buddha accepts me. I appreciate this teaching in my life. And so I think that these are the kinds of thoughts that will keep us coming to the temple. And when we see the reason why we come to the temple, the others will follow. And whether those others are your kids or the public at large. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.